In today's video, let's talk about learning bass guitar as a guitar player. After I released my album, I decided that I wanted to learn the bass guitar and keyboard so that I can apply those instruments in my next album. Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Yup. So, without the bass guitar, I learned that just using acoustic guitar or electric guitar, it's really hard to feel all the frequencies. So, my albums may sound a bit harsh in a way that because it's mostly the frequencies are upper end because even acoustic guitars, when you record them, the bass is really hard to deal with. If you put too much, it gets really boomy. And so, and overall, it's very staccato instrument when you think about the acoustic guitar or even electric guitar. Unless you put a lot of like reverb and delay on them, it's really hard to make it warm. That's the problem. I think that's why guitar players always look for that tube amp. But nothing's gonna be sounding as warm as bass guitar or well-played organ or keyboard. And it was a lot of learning experience, releasing an album, and I want something different. And the other part is that I like, at my age, I'm middle-aged guy. I may look that way. I may not look that way, but it's like learning something new is very exciting for me. That's probably one of the biggest joys that I have nowadays. And so I bought this bass guitar, gosh, during pandemic. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was just like, hey, this guitar has the same scale length as electric guitar. So this is, I believe, 25 and a half maybe. When you put next to a Stratocaster, it's almost the same size. I figured it would be much easier or ergonomically for me to play because I'm so used to playing electric guitars and scale length and everything. The only thing that I'm not familiar is like the string gap in between, and then it's missing two strings. Electric guitars have six, and this bass guitar has four. And then it's like how to even hold. I'm kind of adjusting. I'm going to put the strap and kind of figure out how to play comfortably without hurting my shoulder or wrist. And so I learned this one last night. It's one of the Beatles line. Let me share. It's Paul McCartney is playing, and it's basically it's very different thinking process between electric guitar and bass guitar. I mean, I could play electric guitar the way I just played, but electric guitar players don't play like that often. But the bass guitar is very different. So I need to learn like different way to use the riffs because it's more sparse riffs in my ears for the bass guitars. So meaning longer notes or more rhythmic driven rather than harmonic driven. I think guitar has rhythmic and harmonic both. And especially the way I play acoustic guitar, I try to use the acoustic guitar as like drum, bass, and guitar. So I try to like get really busy with it. But with the bass guitar, it's more of a rhythm and harmonic more than like staccato-y, rhythmic. Well, it's hard to explain. Like drum and acoustic guitars are very full range, but more upper end of the rhythm. The bass is the lower end, and so I hope that makes sense. So I'm just trying to learn how to. So far, this is what I've learned. That I learned that putting my thumb on the pickup like this is the most comfortable for me. And then the other thing is that a lot of the instructors on the YouTube says that a lot of beginners go up like this. I hope you can see this. A lot of players like pull up like this. They say not to do that. So the way to do it is you basically hit your thumb like this on the bass one. If you go to different string, you basically hit the next string. And the less movement will probably give you better timing in the end. And then I personally like the index and middle finger playing bass guitar sound better. So let me show you that example. So using the fingers, it sounds like this. And I'm not so good at it yet. When you use pick, which I'm more familiar right now because I play guitar. I actually like the sound too. I never really liked bass guitar sound before, but I'm starting to like a lot more now. Let me try with the finger one more time. I'm making more mistakes because I'm not used to this walking thing. But I do like the sound of the finger because it has more rounder. It has more pronounced, warmer, and there's more dynamic range to my ears and the feel. So that's what I'm working on. What else have I learned so far? Oh, and the other thing that I learned is that when you play, like, this is a good exercise. For example, when you hit 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, and then the next note, when you go up, basically like a guitar, alternate picking. One, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, index, middle. So that way, when you skip the strings, you can still alternate, meaning kind of like walking fingers. So you can go more smoothly rather than 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's very not connected, right? So that's what I just learned so far. And so my goal is to learn the Paul McCartney's, the Beatles bass line as much as I can because I love Beatles, and see if I can use that into my music making. So I have right now a song that I'm recording for my next album. To give you an example, the chords are like A, D, and E. So so that's like the only playing the root. If I play fifth, so that would be that. But if I play the Paul McCartney's playing, which I just played, I think the song title is "You Won't See Me." So if I use that one, I mean, it can work, but it's kind of unnatural, and I need to get used to it. I don't need to be able to play and sing, which would be nice actually, but I'm mostly interested in just recording. So if I'm not perfect in the whole song, I can chop on Logic Pro, just play like 10 seconds of it and then like stop and then record the next section like that. So I can do that, but I need to be able to learn how to apply these riffs. So for example, that's a chord A because root, third, fifth, and root. And then same thing, this is B major, B third, what's that? Fifth, and then that's octave, right? Octave. was a 765 like that. So I need to be able to basically learn this one and then be able to implement that in different chords. I think that's very important when you learn a new instrument. Be able to use it the way you want to, And that's one of the problems I think a lot of classical, the instrumentalists they have an issue with, because they're so used to reading the chart, they don't know how to implement in like jazz setting with the chord progression only note. So that's a side note. So yeah, I'll be doing a separate playlist on the YouTube channel so you can see my journey of learning bass, and I'll try to add in some of the song clips when I record, learn the patterns and how I use in the songs. And yeah, so that will be my sort of like a side thing. And then I may actually do side by side with the keyboards as well, because I just love the sound of like Let It Be intro. The way he plays with the dun 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 dun. When I find myself, that it's be able to play the bass and the chords on top. It sounds so good, and I think I can use that in my next songs. I mean, most of the songs, because like I said, just guitar is just a little too cold. So I may have to make a separate playlist to learn. I actually need to buy a keyboard as well, because what I have here, it's just a MIDI control. It only has like two octaves of keys, just not enough. I mean, I could only play one hand playing chords, and that's it. That's pretty much the whole. So I need at least like 61 keyboard that I don't have to use the MIDI, the connect and everything. I can just turn one on and just start learning and be able to kind of play at least like 8 bars without making mistakes. Then you can actually record in the Logic and make it into a song. So I'll share that with you as well. I may just combine the bass and keyboard, or I may separate. I don't know. Well, if you have any questions and if you have any tips on how I should approach learning bass, just feel free to leave a comment. Like I said, I'm like a basic, very beginner when it comes to bass. I don't even hear the tone difference between this and the more expensive bass guitars. And right now, my focus is to start the right form, right basics, basically. Because I kind of started with the pick when I was young. I started wrong. I wish I started with 3 fingers instead of 2, which I'm actually trying to correct that right now. I'm practicing a lot with these 3 fingers, and I can explain that in other videos, but I just want to have a solid basic on the bass guitar so I can keep improving and really get good at it. I mean, I'm not trying to like be a bass player. I'm just trying to find a way to record into my songs. So that's my focus. If you have any tips, just let me know. I'd love to hear. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.